Today we're going to be doing the top 10 best RELLCoin bloodlines of Shindo Life. Now this video is going to be based off of how important this bloodline is to buy with your RELLCoins, more than if it's good or not, but obviously the bloodline being good will be a huge factor. So if you guys enjoyed this video, if you want to see more Shindo Life videos, make sure to like, subscribe, comment below what your favorite RELLCoin bloodline is, and ring that bell. Let's get right into it. Alright guys, so coming in 10th place is actually going to be the Snake Man bloodline. Now Snake Man Platinum is going to be the specific type of the bloodline that is in the RELLCoin shop, but it is just such a good bloodline. Now the reason for this is because Snake Man overall just has a massive amount of damage while having a pretty decent counter overall, and the moveset itself can be used on its own just because of the fact you have a counter, you have high damage abilities, and you actually have combo potential. Now the reason why Snake Man is going to be in last place on this list is because Snake Man is better overall if you mix it with other bloodlines, and for the fact that some of the moves are just worse versions of other moves in the game. But I will say that Snake Man mode is pretty decent, and the first move of Snake Man is probably one of the best instant teleporting abilities in the game because first of all, it does a good amount of damage, 80k in mode, it stuns them and allows you to combo extend, and it's instantaneous. So very, very strong ability overall. Now coming to 9th place is going to be Xeno Azure. Now I'm not going to talk that much about this because it's literally here for one reason. If you want to farm event boss bloodlines, so if you want to if you guys want to farm event bosses, then obviously Xeno Azure is your best choice because it still does the effect on event bosses. It just doesn't work on other bosses. So when you're fighting event bosses, Xeno Azure is still the best one because a lot of the abilities still stack despite like it not working on a lot of bosses now. The M1s are pretty decent because they do a lot of damage and it allows you to do ranged M1s. Like Xeno Azure overall is a really great event boss grinding bloodline. Just keep that in mind if you want to grind event boss bloodlines because they are some of the best in the game. Now coming to 8th place is actually going to be Shindai Ren. Now this goes without saying, as I've said previously, this is just for PvE bosses. I would recommend never to use this in PvP. You can do it, but I would recommend never to do it. It's just a PvE bloodline. This is Shindai Ren Yang, in case you guys are wondering. It is the RELLCoin version of it, so take it as you will. It also is a boss drop bloodline, so if that's what you want to do. Now obviously the best move of this for grinding bosses is the counter and the M1s. Also, it also does a lot of damage to people, so it's pretty decent for that. The C ability also summons clones that attack people when you attack them, which can be okay, but I definitely think the first mode is better if you're going to be using both the third and C-spec, because the first mode, it makes your C-spec clones do more. Now the first mode is more PvP oriented, while I think the second mode is more PvE oriented, but they're both pretty bad for PvP, so I'd stay away from PvP if that's what you want to do. Now coming to 7th place is actually going to be Ryan Gaiden. Now Ryan Gaiden, in my opinion, is one of my favorite bloodlines in the game, as you guys probably know by now, and the reason why Ryan Gaiden's going to be here is because its kit does offer a lot of versatility while also just not being dog water. Like, it has a lot of stuns attached to it. The bloodline overall is pretty decent. The C ability is a counter. He attacked too late, but it is a pretty decent counter because it gives you a decent amount of iframes. The weapon spec, you just click on someone, it does a lot of damage. The first ability was reworked to be an iframe ability that allows you to it allows you to attack immediately after the iframe, which is quite decent. So basically the second and first move of Ryan Gaiden are really good. The third move is really predictable, but if they're not using any counters at all, it could be an insanely strong ability. But trust me when I say this, you want to avoid using Ryan Gaiden third if they're using a counter. If they're using a counter, never use this move or you're going to get comboed over and over again, because while it does continue while they're countering you, usually the duration is not longer than the counter duration, and you will get hit by the counter at the end of it. If you time it right, or they have a counter that doesn't actually really do anything past the first instance of it, it will outlast them because it keeps on going despite, you know, the bloodline, despite the move actually being interrupted. It does have hyper armor attached to it. Now coming to 6th place is actually going to be Strange. Now Strange is going to be here purely for the mode, nothing else. So the mode allows you to heal back your HP which you had originally. It also stuns them and allows you to combo them. The weapon spec is an iframe ability which also does a lot of damage, and Strange overall is just a pretty decent bloodline, but it's only going to be here for the mode. You can't actually use the abilities even though it won't be that great, but when it comes to the mode itself, it's easily the best team fighting mode in the game. If you're looking for a really good mode and you just can't find it, then Strange will be your best choice because you can just buy it and then equip it on your bloodline slot whenever you need a good mode. So that's why Strange is going to be here, because it's just a guaranteed good mode no matter what. Like, no matter what set you're using, what like bloodline move set, what combo, combo, it will always be a good mode. So it's just kind of like a fail-safe mode that you could just throw into any kit. Now, coming to 5th place is going to be Ryan Ren Goku. Now, Ryan Ren overall is a really, really good bloodline. This is Ryan Azur, by the way. Ryan Ren is also on it. So first of all, the first ability is a pull attack that allows you to combo extend pretty easily. Ryan Ren's second mode is obviously better than Ryan Ren first mode, but they're still both pretty bad, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I would recommend you never use the second mode of Ryan Ren. It's just not that good. There used to be a funny glitch you could do with the F spec, but that's about it. The Ryan Ren stun is one of the worst stuns in the game because it doesn't actually stun them. And obviously the iframe of Ryan Ren is still really, really good and holds up today. It does a lot of damage. It allows you to get iframes, stuns them when you actually use the ability. It's just on the iframe global cooldown now. So you either pick between this ability or an auto dodge. I always pick this ability. And then obviously, like I said before, this pull ability is really, really great. So Ryan Ren pull ability, really, really, really good. Really easy to integrate into combos. Has an iframe, easily one of the best iframe abilities in the game if that's what you actually want to use. And overall, I mean, Ryan Ren's pretty decent. Now coming to 4th place is actually be Raiden Sabaru. Now Raiden Sabaru is a RELLCoin bloodline if I'm not mistaken. Let me check real quick. Boom, boom. Raiden Sabaru is right there. So Raiden Sabaru is a pretty decent bloodline because a lot of the moves just work pretty decently together. Like, I will say overall, Raiden Sabaru is a pretty decent bloodline. It has this move which pretty much guarantees getting a combo start. Second move combos really well with the first one. And then the third move, which is actually a counter, is a pretty decent counter. The fact it makes you go up so far is actually not that great, just because it will be hard to combo extend off of it. And then when it comes to the actual mode of Raiden Sabaru, you have the C spec, which dashes. Easily one of the best C specs in the game because it hits any amount of people that are actually in the area. So if there's like 4 people, it'll do 200k damage, and it pretty much guarantees that you won't take damage during the time frame. The weapon spec is pretty much just an instantaneous Odin Wolves that allows you to combo extend. Pretty decent ability overall, but I will say that when it comes to Raiden Sabaru, the strength is overall just in the fact that a lot of the moves combo together really well. Overall, it's just a pretty decent bloodline, and the overall bloodline pretty much gives you everything you would want from a bloodline, but obviously mixing other bloodlines moves in is always the best choice. Now coming to 3rd place is going to be Getsuga Black. Now Getsuga Black, this is the normal Getsuga, by the way, not the black version, but when it comes to Getsuga, it's mainly going to be here just because of the fact that it is one of the best EKGs in the entire game. Now, obviously, the mode is pretty decent. It does a bit of damage. Like, it's not the greatest mode in the game, but it will get you by. Like, it'll be okay if you don't have any other modes to use. Like, it has a lot of combo potential. It has like, the hyper armor mode when you use the weapon spec. It's a pretty decent mode if you have nothing else. But the main reason why Getsuga is going to be here is mainly for the first ability, which is an extended place lock stun that is on EKG slot. Pretty much usable in any single combo you could ever possibly think of. Now, the other moves of Getsuga are honestly quite bad. The third one can be useful depending on your combo because it will give you back chi and drain their chi, which actually can be pretty decent depending on what combo you're using. It also does a lot of damage, so if you're looking for a combo that just has like a little gap that you just want to throw some more damage into it, Getsuga third. The fact it's an EKG ability allows you to just slot it into any combo. Most people will probably use Getsuga first into Getsuga third, and then after you do Getsuga first into Getsuga third, you could then use Getsuga F ability, and then followed up with like the C ability because they will be stunned afterwards, just for a pretty decent combo. I mean, like, Getsuga itself, pretty good bloodline. I definitely think it deserves third. Now, coming to 2nd place is going to be Boramaki Shiki. Now, Boramaki, the original Gaiden, isn't in there because I'm pretty sure it's a boss bloodline, but Shiki is not. It is a RELLCoin bloodline if that's actually what you want to use. Now, when it comes to Boramaki Shiki, like I said before, the F spec and the weapon spec of it are probably the strongest moves of it other than the moves themselves. Like, the mode is really good just for that alone. Like this counter right here, like I said before multiple times, it basically has an 8-second cooldown, chases people down no matter where they go, and just does a lot of damage overall. So the mode is good just because of that alone. That's not even counting in the fact that it has one of the highest damage F specs. But when it comes to the actual abilities of Boramaki Shiki, the first and second move are pretty much guaranteed combo extending abilities, which are really, really, really good depending on what your combo is. Now, the M1s of Boramaki, they also do a lot of damage, and they don't knock back far enough that you can't actually combo extend off of them. You just will have to use ability like a dash ability, but they do a lot of damage. That bloodline always kills me. It is what it is, man. The reason why I haven't showed you guys the third ability is because it honestly isn't that good. I would stay away from the third ability, but the first and second ability of Boramaki Shiki are really good. Mode is really good. Just a really good overall bloodline. Definitely deserves second place. Now, our mentioned one is actually going to be Minakaze. Now, this is the bloodline that I recommend you get if you have no other bloodlines in the game, because it just overall is a pretty decent bloodline. I would recommend not using the mode for PvP, but it can be pretty decent for PvE depending on what you're doing. And I will say that when it comes to Minakaze, like, even the second mode is really bad. I actually don't own it, by the way, but it's still really, really bad. And yeah, the main moves of Minakaze you're going to be using is the second move, which if you throw it into a combo, it's really hard to get out of because it actually does have a stun attached to it. Does a lot of damage. And the third move is a really, really good combo extending ability because even though it knocks him away at the end, it's pretty much a guaranteed combo extender because it does have a stun attached to it. So Minakaze overall is pretty decent, pretty good. I recommend you get it if you have no other Bloodlines because it's so easy to integrate into other Bloodline combos. Like even just normal Bloodlines, like non-rare ones, you could just throw in these moves and it will make the Bloodline way better. Now, Honorable Mention 2 is actually going to be Tetsuo Kaijin. Now, Tetsuo Kaijin, first of all, has one of the best dash abilities in the entire game. Kamaki Akuma also has a really similar dash ability where it just like it's just quite good in all honesty. Like it's just quite a good ability if I'm going to be real. It's an instant dash ability that allows you to combo extend. Those are always going to be good. There's a few other Bloodlines that have the same exact thing, but most of them put you in air combos. So that's why Kamaki Akuma and this one are probably the best dash abilities in the game, which obviously deserves an honorable mention on its own. The other moves of Tetsuo Kaijin kind of just allow you to extend M1 combos. They're not really that great. This is a block breaking ability. Like they're not really that great. I guess the C spec is pretty decent. I'm pretty sure the weapon spec allows, yeah. So the weapon spec of Tetsuo Kaijin actually allows you to extend your M1s very far, which actually is pretty decent. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Tetsuo Kaijin, when you're in the weapon spec mode, if you use the C spec, it will summon a monkey that also gets this. So it's going to be a pretty decent mode as well for M1 combos specifically. But when it comes down to it, I honestly think that Tetsuo Kaijin is mainly here for this dash ability, which is just absolutely absurd no matter what combo you're using, because you guys can see the end lag on it. There's like no end lag. So you could attack while it's happening. I'm not sure where the monkey is. I think the monkey is on the dash ability when you activated the weapon spec of it. Yeah. All right. Now coming to first place is actually going to be Code. Now the reason why Code's going to be first place, you guys probably already know this, but Code is just absolutely busted as a Bloodline. Like Code is just straight up broken, if I'm going to be honest. First of all, it puts their moves on cooldown, which is crazy. The third move of Code is the one that people always use, but you can actually use the other moves of Code. Like this one will teleport them to you when you click on it. Pretty decent. And then the second move is pretty much just an instantaneous ability. If you hit them with the initial shuriken hit, it is pretty much just a guaranteed combo extender. I will say the first move of Code is definitely the worst move of the entire Bloodline, but it does allow you to combo extend if they get hit by the clones a single time. Obviously, the counter of Code is also pretty decent. It puts their abilities on cooldown just like the third and C spec do. So Code overall is just a really, really great Bloodline, and the Bloodline is kind of just based around M1 comboing, but you can put it in a significant amount of combos that you're not only limited to M1 combos, which is really, really strong. But yeah, that's actually going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this RELLCoin Bloodline tier list, let me know in the comments below, and hope to see you next one, guys. Peace.